No, you gonna dig this.
Hi, I'm Stan the Man Brooks, host of the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center's award-winning show, Funk Chronicles, recorded live here at the DATV Studios in Dayton, Ohio. And now, Skyping all the way from Los Angeles, California, Miss Cheryl Cooley, one of the original members of Klymaxx. How are you doing, Miss Cheryl?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's awesome to be here. Thank you.
Well, it is an honor for me to get one of the original members of Klymaxx. And but you know, we always like to go back with how you got started in this business, and just take off and give me some history of Miss Cheryl Cooley.
Okay. Well, I actually started playing guitar when I was 11. My sister was married to a jazz musician by the name of Hubert Laws, and he was at my parents' house one day and had his guitar there, and I had a little toy guitar, and I tried to tune my guitar like his, and my sister thought, oh, that'd be a great idea to get Cheryl some guitar lessons. So it was on and cracking from there. They got me guitar lessons. I studied private lessons and studied in school, and took composition, and got my degree in music. And I, always wanted to play music, to be a professional musician. That was really my goal was when I was studying in college and got my music degree. So I always had a dream of being in some sort of special band.
Well, you ended up being in one of the biggest ones, I tell you. Love the group. Give us a little history on the Klymaxx and the group Klymaxx, and how you got started with them, and give me some names of the original members, and
Sure.
just tell people about the history of Klymaxx group.
Sure. It's interesting because I was actually working at a bank, and I was telling my supervisor about this all-female band that I was in. And she asked me to give her a demo tape of the band to give it to her uncle, who was the producer of Peebo Bryson at the time. And we gave him a tape. He really wasn't all that impressed with it, but he passed it on to one of the executives at Solar Records, Margaret Nash. And she heard the tape, and she loved it, and brought the president of the company, Dick Griffey, to our rehearsal, and signed us up immediately. But even before that, I mean, all the girls in Klymaxx didn't know each other before we walked into that rehearsal room, and we just, fate just kind of threw us together and put us in a band together. Everybody has their own story as to how the group met. In the band, we had Bernadette Cooper on drums, Joyce Irby on bass, Robin Greider on keyboards, Lynn Malsby on keyboards, and Lorena Joby Stewart on lead vocals.
Well, I tell you, some of your biggest songs. Can you just give us some history on who wrote some of those, or did y'all all collaborate together, and or was it just Miss Cheryl Cooley and her expertise?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, it's interesting. A lot of people don't realize that Klymaxx actually had 2 albums before the famous Meeting in the Ladies' Room album. Our first album was called Never Underestimate the Power of a Woman, which was actually our demo song that we gave to Solar Records, and I wrote the music to that. And that was our first single, and also the title of the album, first album. Our next album was called Girls Will Be Girls, And we were actually really honored to be the first outside production project from the famous duo of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And on that album, they produced a song entitled Wild Girls, which was our single off of that album. And then the third album, of course, was Meeting in the Ladies' Room. And from that album, there was The Men All Pause, I Miss You, Meeting in the Ladies' Room. Then we went on to do a fourth album entitled Klymaxx. We call it the Pink and Black album because that was the colors on the outside. And from that album, we had songs like Sexy and I'd Still Say Yes and Divas Need Love Too. So we were really honored to continue to have, I think, a total of 5 albums altogether.
Well, I tell you, of course, the big album, Meeting in the Ladies' Room. I noticed that one thing about that album. It is still, and I mean still today. You put that on in the clubs, we are still dancing and getting down with it, with that funk that you play in there on the guitar also. So, tell me more about that song and how y'all come up with that big hit there.
Well, it's interesting because Meeting in the Ladies' Room was actually written by Midnight Star, who was also a label mate at the time. Mm-hmm. And the story goes that one of the guys in Midnight Star was at a club with his girlfriend, and one of the girls in Klymaxx saw him and was excited to see him since we were on the same label. And she ran over and she hugged him and kissed him, and the guy's girlfriend was not happy about seeing this, this woman just come up to her man and give him all this attention. So she jumped up and went into the ladies' room, and he thought, oh, that's a great idea for a song, Meeting in the Ladies' Room. And that's kind of how that song got started.
Well, I tell you, man, it's still funky right now. I tell you, I play it all the time on the radio. It is an outstanding song. And but one thing I loved also about Klymaxx, y'all had a couple of pretty ballads. Who wrote those songs for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. On our Meeting in the Ladies' Room album, we had the song "I Miss You" that was written by the keyboard player Lynn Malsby. And on our fourth album, we had the song titled "I Still Say Yes," that was actually written by Babyface. And we had the opportunity to have Howard Hewitt sing a kind of second vocal on that with us.
And it is still a beautiful ballad. Today we play it a lot, especially on our little quiet fires and things like that throughout the radio listeners. And I tell you, it has just been one of the biggest, really one of the most requested ballad songs that I play a lot.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Now, I tell you this. We are here also today because, in Dayton, Ohio, we are now getting together here with the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center. And Mr. David Webb and his staff is doing an outstanding job here, trying our best to get all funk groups involved, and definitely we could not do it without Klymaxx. So can you just tell me exactly how Klymaxx can kind of help this funk museum, and what can y'all do to make sure that it gets out to the public? I appreciate everything that you're doing now.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the things that that's kind of an honor also is that Klymaxx really is the only R&B all-female band even as of today, and I think the just that type of legacy I think will be a great matchup to be part of the Hall of Fame, the Funk Hall of Fame. I mean, what else to do but to, have the all-female band come up there and continue to, have the funk legacy continue and be a representative of that. And I mean, realistically, it's just fantastic to just be able to have all of the artists that were responsible for that style of music to be a part of our fabric, our music fabric. It's just great.
Well, in Dayton, Ohio, we have a lot of funk groups that started here in Dayton, Ohio. and out there in Los Angeles, I know they perform out there a lot still today. Zap is still out there. Lakeside, of course, a lot of the members live out there in California now. So can you give me some of your influence, especially as a musician? Who influenced you to get on that guitar? I'm talking about, what would you say, somebody like a Bootsy Collins? Did that help you a little bit?
Well, let me say what you may not know is that Lakeside actually was our first producers at Solar Records. And to work with Otis and Steve Shockley, Steve was able to, I mean, when I watched him play and he'd show me some things and we'd play guitar together, I mean, it was really an awesome experience to be able to, share information and share talent like that. The Lakeside was really instrumental in just really showing us how to put on a great professional show out there in the concert circuit.
Well, tell us a little bit now, since you brought the concert circuit up. What is Klymaxx doing now? Can we see them in the near future, if on stage performing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I invite your audience, your listeners, to check us out at Klymaxx.com. That's spelled Klymaxx.com. We're getting ready for our 2016 tour schedule for sure, but also we have some shows that are going to be lined up for December and November. Just keep watch on the calendar page for our schedule, and we're really going to continue the Klymaxx legacy to play for the audiences. I mean, it's really surprising how many people haven't seen an all-female band today. And it's great to get up there and show them, that women can funk just as great as guys can. We're really going to just continue continue that legacy, continue the music, continue to inspire and entertain the fans and the audiences and stuff like that. And they're great at responding to what we're doing on stage, and I'm just really honored to be in a position to continue the Klymaxx music and the Klymaxx legacy.
When you talk all-female bands, I'm noticing a lot that even when Beyonce came out on tour, that was her passion, was to make sure that all of her musicians were female. And it ended up being a heck of a tour for her. And I think still today she's using a female band. I've noticed that Prince, lately, I seen him on TV not too long ago, and all the members of his group were female. And
right.
I'd say, hey, you had a big influence on that, Miss Cheryl.
Well, and it's an honor to have that kind of influence. I mean, that really states that we were a part of that fabric to change the idea that, women can get up there and funk just as hard as the guys. I mean, it's just still, again, it's a great honor for, those type of artists, Prince and Beyonce, to, just continue that whole idea.
Well, when it comes to your members of the group, tell me a little bit about them and just introduce them to us here so we can, so we'll know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay. Well, actually on tour, I have on drums, Tramisha Vaughn, on bass, April Fletcher. I had my vocalist, Danielle Mims and Christy Malone. And, together we're out there continuing the Klymaxx music and the Klymaxx tour. And the audience is just really, really excited when we get out there and perform.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm hoping to see you come out this way here toward the east side of the country.
Oh, yeah.
Because the city of Dayton is just known for funk, and we're definitely looking for Klymaxx to come this way, and hoping that we can try our best to get some of your favorite audience here so that they can just notice how talented you still doing and how good and funky the group is still today.
Well,
now,
thanks.
Talking about some funk, are you still pretty good with that guitar?
you go.
Well, I tell you what.
Play a little something, something every once in a while.
Well, why don't you do that right now? Let me see what you can do. I don't believe you're as good as you used to be. Huh?
Oh, that's so wrong.
Huh? Come on, come on. Look at that beautiful guitar. Look, I see she keeps it pretty close.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. How see? Let me see what I can do here.
Do me a few things. Woo-wee. Girl, I love it. I love that. I tell you, man, this is beautiful when you can just sit back, relax, interview a professional like you, pick up that guitar and just jam. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know.
I really enjoy playing guitar. I mean, this is my passion. It's my passion.
Well, tell us now, when it comes to the funk part of Klymaxx, and that we are hoping that you are going to help us any way possible to keep this funk museum alive.
Sure.
Give me some ideas that you think you can help Mr. David Webb and his staff to keep this legacy of yours and many more alive today.
Oh, I mean, I think just being a part of it, just being able to have Klymaxx be part of the listing of the artists that are, being honored and featured at the Funk Hall of Fame. I mean, that's great. That's a speechless honor, trust me.
Well,
but,
I tell you,
I'm going to continue to let people know that there is an organization that's definitely keeping the music alive, because people are really still asking for funk music. They're really, like, where's that kind of music again? We're really dying for that music to be back on the radio. And this really gives a platform for people to refer to see where the artist came from, where this music originated from, and where it will continue to go.
Well, I tell you, the thing that I like about you and the group is that you're still out there in the public. You're still out there jamming as often as you possibly can, and you're letting the people know that the funk is still alive. And that's the main thing about this. And with the funk still alive, and that we're trying our best here in Dayton, Ohio, to make sure that it never dies, you are going to be a big part of that. Because with the way that the group is today, and the funk of your songs that you've had out, I tell you, it's just, you just don't know how important to find a song that can last as long as Meeting in the Ladies' Room and Men All Pause. And that bass rip on a couple of those songs also. Did you have anything to do with the bass rip on a lot of those?
That was the brainchild of the bass player and the drummer. They really were into the foundation of having those rhythms just drive the groove. When people get out on the dance floor, I know that's probably the first thing that they really pay attention to, and it's really an important part of the Klymaxx music.
It is, and your group did it so well, and we are just. When I go to nightclubs and I play in nightclubs a lot, and we definitely put that Klymaxx song on, and I'm telling you, the dance floor today is still jamming, and they jump for joy when they hear a little Klymaxx funk. I tell you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really honored. That's awesome.
Now, when it comes back, let's get with Miss Cheryl Cooley again. Before, when I say that, I'm talking about. Tell me a little bit more about the influences that you had. Where I know you were telling us how you started playing that guitar, but it had to be someone that you just said, oh my goodness, if I could just play like that.
I think I really took parts of so many different artists.
Take your time. Tell us about it.
Guitar players. I mean, I can think of guitar players like George Benson, Steve Lukather, again, Stephen Shockley, Otis Stokes. I mean, they those type of musicians, guitar players, just, oh gosh, there's each guitar player has something to offer. And I just listen. Oh yeah, and yeah, I can't forget even yeah, I was really influenced a lot too by Sly and the Family Stone's music and the guitar player, his brother there. I mean, all those kind of riffs, the Earth, Wind and Fire type riffs with Al McKay, those funk songs are just that I'm into that rhythm. I'm really into that type of funk feel, and all of those different guitar players just really. Were essential for me listening and learning and knowing how to, keep the groove going. And I can't forget to mention Ray Parker. It's interesting because Ray Parker said a statement that just changed my whole approach to playing funk. And he said, it's not what you play, it's how you play it. And that just really gave me a new direction on how to really drive that rhythm, I mean, the funk, the rhythm, it's all just like a marriage in the music.
And I can tell you're just so excited when you talk about it, and that's the thing I just love. When you see a professional like you, after all these years, can still talk about it like you just started yesterday, and watch the smile on your face. This just tells me this is your passion. This is what you've always loved to do, and please do not stop doing what you're doing. You see,
I appreciate you saying that. I really appreciate you saying it. It is my passion, and I do. My drive is to continue to play for the audience, and I really don't want to stop. I mean, I'm going to continue on, as long as the fans are there, as long as the audience is there. I will always be there to continually to perform for them.
Okay, let's talk just a little bit about the original members. Are the original members ever going to get back together and do
Well,
something
I
for
don't
us?
know if I can answer that right now. I guess time will tell.
Well, I tell you, but you're saying the group that you have with you now, they're not missing a beat.
They're not what again?
They're not missing a beat, huh?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, again, it's about the Klymaxx music, the Klymaxx legacy. The audience is there to hear the music, and that's what we present to them. When they hear the music and they have the memories of the songs, and a lot of times they're able to even come to us backstage and say, when I hear that song, I think of this happening in my life and that happening in my life. And it just really is a great feeling that people have such a memorable experience with Klymaxx music.
Well, and here's the thing that excites me about your group. When I look back and I remember the type shows that y'all used to put on, very professional, and you definitely got the audience involved. And tell me a little bit about that. What makes y'all get that audience involved when you do live shows?
Well, it's interesting. I think their energy kind of inserts into the show, which is great. I mean, they're that much into it, into the vibration of it. And, when they respond to us and respond to, our performance, it drives us together. It mends us together. It binds us together. And they kind of insert themselves in the show, and we make a place for them to insert themselves into the show. It's really great. I mean, the energy between the stage and the audience is like a marriage. It's great.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before we wrap it up, give me a little your final thoughts of the Funk Museum, where we can go with this, how you could help us keep the funk alive.
Oh my God. Well, again, like I said, I'm definitely going to get the word out. I've already set up a place on our website to kind of, keep people linked into what's going on there. This experience here, this interview here, has really inspired me to, get the word out there about the Funk Museum, the exhibit, the legacy and all of that, and just to have the staff continually to keep it upgraded and going and communicating with the audiences out there. I'm honored that there is someone out there to take that kind of energy and time to do that, because there's a lot of people that haven't experienced this kind of music, and it really deserves to have a position in history.
And we couldn't do it without Cheryl Cooley and the funk group of Klymaxx. And I tell you, hey, before we let you go, play us a little bit more of that guitar, because you just don't know how excited you look when you're doing it. Man, it's just beautiful.
Let's see here. Oh gosh. Let's see.